Welcome to Kino Quickly, I'm your host Disco, and I'm starting a look at a series of films because Hollywood has been refusing recently to, release any movies. They're very scared of this pandemic, and I think rightfully so, but they're concerned for the wrong people. The real people being harmed by this pandemic are all the people working in movie theaters because nobody is coming in to see any movies, and they are in desperate need of people to come see those movies. So by not releasing any movies, they're actually harming the people that they need to help the most. So I think that's a very, bad move from Hollywood, where, Hollywood normally is, they're usually completely right about everything they do. They're very moral people. When you look at every single, award ceremony, they always take their time to address some issues they see in the world, so you know that by the way they present themselves, they really care about the people, but I don't know why they're really being quiet about the whole movie theater situation. So because the flow of movies has been slow, I've decided to go back and watch some of the most popular movies in the past forever, and that's the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Starting with Iron Man from 2008, directed by Jon Favreau. Now, Iron Man was an instant classic. Everybody loves it. Everybody knows, Robert Downey Jr., they see him on the street and they just know him as Iron Man. He's become synonymous with that character. And I think he's pretty much done acting now that he's retired as that character. There's not much else he can really do because he just is Iron Man. In this movie, he kind of knocks it right out of the park at the beginning. This is a solid entry into this franchise, and it's a pretty good movie. This movie is very cinematic, part of why it's called the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's very much a movie. And you got a pretty strong writing, I guess. You got a good guy and a bad guy. You got how the good guy becomes the bad. You got how the good guy becomes the good guy. And then you have the other story of how the bad guy becomes the bad guy, and then you have them fight at the end. And I think that's the way you should do things for the most part. The acting, I guess it's pretty good. Nothing to write home about, but it's pretty good. Is this a family movie? Yes, no. That's what's on most people's mind when they're looking at a movie, and I'd say this is definitely a family movie. This is something you can throw on for the kids. They're gonna have fun as the funny little flying man flies around and wreaks havoc. But at the end of the day, he's got a heart of gold, or in Iron Man's case, a heart of iron or whatever it is. He's got like a robot heart in this movie. So, yeah, I'd say this movie's fine for kids. I don't think adults are really gonna, take much from it. It's got Jeff Bridges. He's always he's a fan favorite around these parts. He's a fan favorite. I'm a huge fan of Jeff Bridges, not so much Robert Downey Jr., so it's kind of sad when Jeff Bridges isn't on screen, but it's kind of a treat when he is. So, I'd say I recommend this movie. This movie's pretty good. You're gonna get some laughs. You're gonna get some. Not really gonna cry in it. And nothing really emotional happens in this movie. It's more so focused on having a fun Iron Man adventure, and I think that's pretty good. I don't think all movies are supposed to make you cry and feel bad at the end of the day, but I think the good ones do. But I'd still consider this a good movie because it's it's just a fun action movie. I'm not gonna hold it to some crazy standard. So yeah, I'd recommend this movie if you have kids. If you're an adult, I wouldn't really, but if you have nothing else to watch, I'd say go ahead and do it. It's fine. Plus, you'll be, these are really popular movies. You'll be able to talk to people about them. So if you're ever at a party, you can say, hey, I watched Iron Man, and I think 9 out of 10 people will be like, oh yeah, I watched that. How did you like it? So yeah, I'd recommend it for that reason. So, you know, the movie, I'm gonna give it 1 thumb up. I don't think it's a 2 thumb up movie. It's not the best, but you know, it's a crowd pleaser. It's a crowd pleaser. It's a crowd pleaser. It's a crowd pleaser. So yeah, that'll be 1 thumb up. I definitely recommend this, and I also recommend you have a nice day.